and we're really excited to be joined by Damien from FX1. For those of you who know, we caught up with Damien back in June, and a lot has happened since then on the FX1 side. So we're excited to catch up into that, as well as dive a little bit deeper. There was an awesome space yesterday with FX1 joining the Killer Whales space, and had some questions that we'll dive in a little bit deeper into, which we're excited to connect on today. But Damien, how are you doing? It's good to have you on.
Dude, I'm doing well. Great to be back. Thanks for the invitation. I'm looking forward to the next, half an hour, 45 minutes. It's always a blast hanging out with you guys on a Saturday morning.
Absolutely. It's good to have you on. And you're not just hanging out with us. In fact, you're also doing some multitasking, I believe, on your end. What do you got going on? Is there anything that you can show us there? Or do you want to just tell us about what you're doing right now?
Yeah, we're running the AI off UFC 308. It's in Abu Dhabi this fight round. So normally it's our Saturday night. My Saturday night is spent running AI on a combat sports fight. So, but I'm doing it this morning on a breakfast in UFC. So yeah, they're just in between fights. When the next fight gets going, yeah, maybe we can share some screen and I'll show you what's going on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. So for those of you who don't know, Bomb and I, we got to focus on this stuff 100%. That's us, okay? Not Damien. Damien, he's like pushing the company forward and hopping on stream to do that as well. So
Who said a guy can't multitask? Let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just see.
That's so
And
good.
so I remember from last time we were talking a little bit about you're located in Cali as well, which is
Yeah.
where both Bomb and I are. And I can see from all of our screens, we kind of got the sunlight pouring in through the windows. So for those of
Yeah.
you who are in a colder climate, I'm sorry for you guys, but we're just wearing t-shirts over here. Bomb's about ready to shed his hoodie over there,
It's true.
and enjoying some good weather over here. So got a couple of questions. We obviously connected in June, which was like 5 months ago. What have you guys been up to since then?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we are talking just before. I couldn't believe, I thought it was June the year before, how much is going on, right? But that's great. It's exciting. I think last time we caught up, obviously we dived deep probably into the AI models we've built and developed. And at that time, I believe we had a consumer-facing app where we were playing around with the stats. So, and that went well. I mean, we got about 4,000 downloads of it. It wasn't, I wouldn't say we had product market fit or anything along those lines, but it enabled us to build out an end-to-end pipeline of a product that went live. We got 6 AI models, computer vision models. So if, anyone wants to sort of be a bit of a review on that, what that does is basically we pull or access the stream of a live sport, and the models read the pixels of the screen that sits behind what we see with the human eye. It picks up things like detection of, in our case, 2 fighters. It picks up the audio of everything as well, picks up strikes, identifies strikes and action between fighters, picks up the speed and force of all these strikes as well. So we really bring this accuracy to combat sports when it comes to, tracking stats. And I can give you some details on sort of a case study I've done in the past around the UFC, which is super interesting and live. It brings advanced stats and data to combat sports that the human eye can't track. So, traditionally human data collection in sports is still very manual. It's people, watching it like I am today, but hitting a keypad and pressing the buttons like punch, kick, elbow, knee, whatever, right? And that obviously has a lot of human bias. It has a lot of challenges that go into it when you're doing that. It's, what I think is a significant strike, what Bomb thinks is a significant strike could be 2 different things, right? So you got this human bias element, human error, speed, and costs to deliver these things, So we bring in this whole new element to data collection and extraction for live sports, which is super exciting. Combat sports is a highly complex sport. I have 3 sports happening in once. There's a lot of action that happens really fast, and hence why we're seeing the traditional means being a lot of trouble. So yeah, we're at that stage of building that out, and that's been built out. We've developed and improved the accuracy of those models even more since we last spoke. But really, for me, it was doubling down on an ecosystem that I could see the opportunity to have this technology scalable, and to really open it up to its best use case. And what I realized is it's not necessarily a direct to consumer model, it's a business to business model for us. We want to be able to deliver this out to multiple leagues, multiple combat sports and multiple sports. And for me, that move to a direct business to business model is where we went to or have gone to since we last caught up. And as you mentioned, I had a big announcement this week around the company and where we're moving to directly, which really completes the ecosystem. It's not a change or an adjustment to the company or anything. It's just this part of the ecosystem what we'll get into, which needed to be there to complete the whole circle and enable FX1 to truly scale out as a company and see it go and achieve the milestones I believe it can. So
Absolutely. So
yeah,
there's a lot there, and a couple of
yeah,
questions there to dive in a little bit deeper. You mentioned that there can be bias between people recording strikes. I think for Baum, that might just be a slap. He's
It
like, "Oh
is.
man,
It
that was
is.
that was a that was a big strike right
If
there."
I can get any little thing in, that to me is a big strike.
Yeah, low over there. But but a little bit more so in the ecosystem part, because I remember kind of thinking that when we were on I think it was back in June, like, how does this translate like a B2C model into really the scalability with the FX1 token? So I'm curious, like with how the token gets integrated into that ecosystem with the B2B model, right? And other companies I'd imagine purchasing that data that really want to give their users and viewers that unique experience. Is that
yeah.
really like, is the end or the target client, I guess, for you on the business side? Is it basically anyone that can leverage that data and basically pay a price for that data as it's being facilitated to them, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean that's a big question. So yeah, let me sort of unpack it over through stages maybe, and we'll go
Sure.
back and forth. But I think it's critical for any utility project out there that has a token. There needs to be utility, right? and at the end of the day, and also someone has to pay for something for this to work. You can't just have digital money as a revenue line. So it's critical that we have customers on one side buying our data, using our AI solutions and AI products, and then integrating what that looks like into the broader ecosystem and how FXI token fits in that as well is, really where we moved into this further ecosystem and further advancements is because I didn't see the utility piece really being a significant play in a direct to consumer model and what I saw. So FXI is at the heartbeat of this ecosystem and certainly will be on how we do it. And the technology for us is also a huge application. So moving into more of a blockchain protocol or moving into a blockchain protocol. And, for everyone out there who doesn't know about the announcement is, we announced to become, well, we will be the world's first AI powered decentralized sports data blockchain. So, the AI is obviously the element we already have. The decentralized sports data blockchain is the component that was missing on this ecosystem. So the ability to now come in and on chain put this data, which is really exciting to us because that enables us to do some pretty cool things with it. And as you mentioned, is around the ability to commercialize it and use FXI for the ability of payments, etc., for the data. So so there's a lot of elements there. Moving into an L3 blockchain enables us to do some pretty cool things with fan engagement and then utilize that token for rewards, which we can get into as well. So yeah, the applications now become significant for us, which is really exciting. And I'm able to just pause there because we can go deeper into the token and where we see it moving, if you like, as well.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So before we do that, I just want to say if you guys do want to have the opportunity to be part of a giveaway that we're doing at the end of the stream, Damien and the crew over at FX1, they're actually going to be contributing to a giveaway for FX1 as well. Going to be doing $100 worth of FX. One token. So if you are wanting to be part of that giveaway, go ahead and type spin in the chat and we'll get you on the wheel. We'll also be doing some Hello token giveaways as well. So you have an opportunity to be part of both ecosystems. So there you go. Um, a little bit more so into the FX1 token as we're on that. And by the way, if anyone wants to ask any questions, go ahead and type that in the chat, and we'll be sure to get to your question too at the end. But I wanted to see, like, with the FX1 token, how does that? How do you see, kind of diving a little bit deeper into that? How do you
Yeah.
see that playing kind of a crucial role in the ecosystem? Because obviously, with this data, you can take that B2B, and there really is no need to, by and large, to even jump into the Web3 side to get the
Yep.
token. So how would that kind of integrate into that model that you have set up?
Yeah. So, at the moment you can stake FXI. So that's, an existing piece of the utility you can do. But when you bring out that ecosystem, what we talked about, I look at, what are the problems we're solving in this space as well? And you look at the traditional sports data company, very centralized, single point sensitivity, as we sort of touched on, and how they actually collect data. And then the commercialization of it, which is really interesting. You have big leagues out there going, you can be our official data partner, pay us millions of dollars, so you can be the data company that has the central feed of that. That's a monopolization of a market right there. And all of a sudden now that
Right.
lifts the commercial model, and everyone's paying all this these crazy fees for this sports data. That really restricts innovation out there in the market, for us. And so this is where I went to and looked at, like, what will our ecosystem be for the next generation of sports data companies, and what does that look like? And if you look at this and we talk about FXI and the different elements that FXI can come into this ecosystem, one really interesting application which we'll be using is the launch of a world's first, which is a fan node sale. So if you look at nodes sit on a chain. We're calling them fan nodes. Now, fans have the ability to buy a fan node as an NFT and participate in the checking and observation and validation of sports data on chain, which is really exciting. Well, get rewarded with FXI on that chain. So, we see an exciting utility there, if we just talk about the fan engagement piece.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. And Bomb, I don't know if you have any questions. Bomb might not know what you meant when you were saying something like that, but
I got that fun.
yeah. But Bomb, yeah, if you have any questions there, because I think one of the big things too, and it's always tricky, is bridging the gap between people that understand crypto and, like, what is blockchain, what
Yeah.
is a node, with the your call it your main market that you're going to go after, or people really that are just interested in watching the fight. And it's like, okay, where can I see the data? And really, the neat thing about what you guys are doing now is you don't have to worry as much about that, because it's almost like you're showcasing the data via the other companies that are actually purchasing the data, and they're using it to display it, right? Am I often in that, or is that kind of more the more back end data that is then going to be displayed by the whether it's UFC, whether it's kind of these companies that would be showcasing it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting, this bridge of education which you talk about to the traditional fan. So, if we just touch on, who's buying this, and the applications around the usage of it is, traditionally sports data companies will have APIs for sports data. We can, we'll be certainly doing that. Sorry, one moment. I was going to start the AI. It's on. So next fight's on. So yeah. So we'll have that, but it's about then bringing other applications into life and using AI into those areas. So clearly, sports betting, fantasy sports is a very big part, and data and sports betting go hand in hand. We've already got live AI predictions that we have out there, and we're selling. We're sitting at around 68% accurate on win-loss pre-fight, which is really cool on fight cards. And we also have our AI, which has live predictions that updates every 10 seconds in the fight, and then updates, who we think is going to fight, be the winner. Think about a graph and two lines of the two fighters and where they're moving across the fight. So these are the sort of applications that in combat sports hasn't been out there and existed prior. So these are the sort of things we see. Other things are sports media companies are huge on this. You think about generative AI and, moving these core data points into new copy or to new media. That new media could be a live play-by-play action. It could be actual copy and text. We can regenerate this data into. It can also be, as you mentioned, overlays live on a broadcast. So basically, we can actually articulate what's going on in the fight right now, i.e., they're standing, they're on ground, and overlay data real time that's relevant to what's going on in that fight, from the AI. So these are the applications that we get really excited about and what's happening. And these are the type of customers or type of companies that are be buying this data. And you're right, you're going to see FX1 logo out there. You're going to see this utilized across leagues, across sports media platforms, and of course across sports betting platforms as well.
Got it. No, and that's and one of the things I have to ask, because for anyone that runs a company, right? How do you decide and how do you determine? Because there's endless applications for this data, right? How do you decide and focus and decide what to focus, spend your time on, and then what avenues you want to explore and what kind of time you want to allocate to each avenue that you're exploring? Because I think that's something that a lot of people, whether you're not really sure what goes on behind running a company like that, or you're kind of just like, oh, hey, why don't they just do X, Y, and Z? Can you dive in a little bit more to like what the headspace is for you, your schedule, kind of like allocating your time to really what is our core competency and how we focus on that and how we do that for the end user to where they don't have to think about all this other stuff, but like I know this has to pass through your head and you have to filter out the chaff from what you're actually going to use. So maybe you could just walk us through that process of how you come to those determinations.
Yeah, for sure. I think any good company, you need to start with a very clear vision and purpose and direction on where you're going. So if you don't know where you're going, you don't know who your customer is, the problem you're solving, and the market you're in, then you're already behind the eight ball, let's just say. So firstly and foremost, you need to get that vision right. You need to have that strategy correct. Then it's really just setting up your timelines, your milestones, and your goals on what you want to achieve, and then formatting that, pushing that into priorities. Yes, those priorities can change and adjust along the way, and they do all the time. But generally, it's the role of a CEO is to do the shittiest jobs all the time. So so we might have the technology running really well, right? The AI is pumping. I don't need to be touching that right now, but we need to get more sales in. We need to get more customers buying this data. I need to double down on there and the team there and see what they're doing, for example. So it really depends on what's going on in the business at that time. But we just got to the role is to ensure that we have goals and targets we want to hit. We're going to hit those, and I feel the gaps as needed, as I think's needed, to make sure that we keep moving forward in the right cadence to achieve them. So it varies, is what I'm going to say. Right now my focus is on launching and announcing, obviously, a pretty exciting move into a AI-powered sports data blockchain. That strategy's taken months to develop, due diligence, partners that we got rolling out with it, etc. So, now that's announced, we have a very clear action plan on delivering and rolling that out, which includes, a fan node sale, which we're trying to get live by before the end of 2024. Pending market, but that's where we want to hit that first fan node sale. So
that's what I was really I just know Baum was gonna ask that.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
I know you were, Baum. He's gonna go, what's the timeline? Because I got the FX1 chart and I just want to know when to buy. Okay,
that's exactly what it is.
There you go, Baum. There you go. Oh man, what a loser that Baum is over there. Trying to capitalize. No,
what does the AI data say between a fight between Finn and I? That's the real question.
Oh
yeah. Well, it's
no. I'm just looking at it right now, the fan nodes. If you could go in a little bit more detail on that, because I also was reading that there's also receive NFTs, and I know people like NFTs. I appreciate them.
Yeah.
That might look like, because also what is that granting them special privileges? Like, what is that? You know, like if I mean, you don't have to give all the details away, but just like if you could go into that a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, so a node is obviously, on chain helps to validate data. These nodes are checker nodes or light nodes. You might have heard, observer nodes. We're running this through Arbitrum, which is, we're going to roll this up as a service. Arbitrum's costs are low, it's fast, it's secure, it's proven itself. So we'll have a cross-chain token. We'll stay on Ethereum. Ethereum is where the liquidity is, but there will be our utility of our token will sit in Arbitrum and on chain there. So, these nodes, you buy them, they are an NFT, so you own them. What that allows you to do is you can buy one or many of these fan nodes. You can choose to outsource the checking component of it to a node operator we're working with, or you can choose to, operate this node on your desktop, on your mobile. They're very light to enable you to do this. And basically, as I said, it's this observing and seeing this data come through. So as we're here today and I'm pushing the AI live on UFC 308, you could be watching it sitting on with your checker node, seeing this data come across, which is super cool, right? You see something you don't like, you see something that looks weird, you can flag that, to the smart contract, and then the company will look at, or FX1 will look at the errors or suggested problems in that data coming through, for example. So that's what it'll do, and you'll get rewarded in FXI bomb in doing that. So you'll get FXI, it'll be an APY, and we're going to come out with that on what that looks like and the release periods of them. There will be a launch, they'll have different tiers. So obviously you get in earlier, you're going to have a more cost-effective model on your return. So that's where we're ahead. But then the big thing for us is the community you're going to be a part of here, this decentralized community, this sports data economy, which now that NFT is yours, you can own that, you can create your own look and feel on that, fan avatars, which we've created. So this NFT can really become something. And then on the back of it, we are building this really exciting community of sports fans. What that community looks like, there's some components we're looking there around gamifying or AI generated games to enable the fan node operators to still participate. We're looking at real world rewards, so i.e. you want tickets to the UFC, you want merchandise, etc. These are the things that you can actually participate in being in this community. And we're also considering what a rev share looks like for a fan node operator for that particular sport. So let's say you hold a combat sports fan node, we're selling combat sports data that you're actually observing and checking. What does that look like from a smart contract perspective for that fan node operator? And what is a percentage potentially of what they're getting of that revenue? So this is where this whole decentralized economy now comes in, and this next generation of sports data companies is what we're really pushing into, becomes to a reality. Removing the centralization, removing the lack of transparency and trust. If you see a data point out there, we're just, I suppose, we're from sports, we're just assumed to trust it. But why would you trust that, right? Because what I've shown, I've done a case study here. Get this out. I've done a case study on the UFC. Now I've checked multiple times on this. Their live data is up to 52% incorrect on what they show you.
I heard that on the space, and my jaw hit the floor. So
up to 52% incorrect, wow. Right?
That's crazy.
So you think about that. You're just assuming that it's correct. I mean, sometimes they are accurate. Sometimes they're very wrong, right? And we've shown this consistently. The NBA came out and so they did a review of their data across 2014 to 2018. They had over 2,000 stats wrong. Wow. This is the NBA, right?
Wow.
So this is very interesting space. It's a very interesting space. Now, this is all centralized, private. No one knows what's going on. They're feeding this to official data operators. They're paying a lot of money. And then there's sports betting that's part of this. There's money on the line for the consumer. And then you think about the athlete. Now, this data is being collected on that athlete. That athlete is determined on their contract and how much they can make based on the accuracy of a lot of that data as well. So for me, seeing an official mark saying official decentralized data validation or some sort of mark on FXI or a tick on data points, knowing that that's been validated by multiple sports fans out there on a decentralized economy, I'm going to trust that way more than a centralized solution there.
Have you had any issues? Because this is a great like it makes sense, right? It's one of the things that solves a clear problem, and it brings along the solution, right? Have you seen from the sales side of this, like getting an MBA or a UFC, a little bit of apprehension due to the connection to crypto versus if you had just gone in as a, hey, we provide accurate AI data, here you go. Have you
Yeah.
seen any hesitancy in that realm due to what you're trying to build out for the community as part of this whole ecosystem that, anyone that's part of FX one really appreciates, but has that
Yeah.
hindered you in any way where it's like, yeah, it'd be so much easier if I just did this, but I'm really doing this to build out an ecosystem for everyone where it's decentralized, they can all see it, and they can participate in it. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the sports industry is, they're very timid on these type of things, and they're very safe. So, yeah, I mean, and you would obviously they all got burned on the NFT push for that period there, and so, and there was some big payouts with, what went down, through the bad times. So yeah, there's some apprehension, but for me, it's, I just push down on like, no, we're using blockchain technology. We're using the actual technology there that underlines helping you solve a problem, helping you drive new revenue lines, helping drive deeper fan engagement into your fans, and giving you a better data product on the other side. So I'm not trying to sell you some dodgy crypto token or anything like that. So yeah, you got to have these conversations. And I think it's one of those things, guys, where once it's up and running and it's operational, I've already got 2 leagues signed up, pro combat sports leagues signed up, which is really exciting. The announcements are coming
Wow.
soon. That's when I think people start to see these things and go, oh, this works. This is an interest. This is a real application that's actually helping, leagues and sports data become into the next century. So yeah, there's some challenges, but I've got complete belief in the problem we're solving and the vision we have here. And any good startup wants to disrupt an industry, and that's what we're doing here. Now there is some areas of these tier 1 sports data companies that have innovation arms as well, early stages in discussions with one of these tier 1s. So this would be interesting to see where it goes, because they got no idea. You might have heard this yesterday on the spaces. They got no idea on Web3. They got no idea around what blockchain is, how to utilize blockchain. You know what I mean? And obviously this AI technology would develop, particularly for combat sports, is revolutionary for the sport. So, this is where it gets very interesting, bringing it all together. And I'm looking forward to seeing the future of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that that's something we try to see how can we make something like a Hello Labs token, right? Or an FX1 when you're talking to other people that's not their mainstream. It's a lot easier when you're just saying, "Hey, there's this really cool hat. You should buy it." And people can say, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." But when you say, "Oh, there's this really cool data and you've got these nodes and blockchain and it's all
Yeah.
validated and decentralized," you can see some people's eyes are just like going to glaze over
100%.
because they just don't
Yeah.
understand what it means, and they bomb and more importantly they've heard, like you said, all these things about like, oh, the FTX went under, and that all that these crypto wallets can be hacked, and like I have this apprehension. Is so for you guys, is there that, hey, this ecosystem is behind the scenes and it operates for the
Yeah.
community and all that stuff, but the people that we're talking to, all they need to know, like you were saying, is kind of like it just operates on blockchain tech, and like that's what they can see as far as you like the data, it's validated on the blockchain, so you're all good on that front. And then they don't really need to know all the other stuff that you guys are building, or
100%.
how does
Yeah.
is that how it works into the conversation sometimes?
Yeah. No, you have to, dumb it down and just take the tech out of it, and be a storyteller around what it means. What is the use case? What is the benefit of what we're doing here? So, in this case, for a sports fan, it's like, hey, you love combat sports. Would you love to be a part of a community that actually can check the data live? And you can get rewarded for that data. And then you can be a part of a broader community that actually has real world tangible benefits, i.e. tickets, merchandise, etc., that you can access. Is that something that would interest you? I'd probably
Right.
say a lot of them like, yeah, Yeah, I didn't mention blockchain once. I didn't mention a node once, and I don't need to. But obviously, in the world of Web3, you know, people know node sales. People know what a token is. So that's where you probably double down a little bit more of that language. Yeah.
And I'm curious too, and I want to get to a question in just a second, but first I want to get to some comments from chat. So we've got Freddie Bear saying, "I've seen Bomb and Finn argue about who caused a loss or a death in first-person shooter games. They could use this technology." Thanks, Freddie Bear. Appreciate that. Yeah, to settle the tie, who got the kill?
Yep.
Piff saying, "Yeah, I'm glad to hear you guys are expanding to independent businesses because I remember asking that about licensing from the last live stream." Yeah, good thought there, Piff, and good to have you here. I think another thing that I was just kind of like thinking for someone like Bomb is training for, what is it, a half marathon,
Half
Bomb, that you're going to
marathon.
run in December?
That's the
Yeah,
plan.
there you
Yep,
go.
there you
So
go.
he's been man, he's been looking good. He's been sculpting over there, is what
I
Bomb's
can
been
see
doing.
he's gotten leaner.
Bro,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
jawline.
It's a puffy jacket, boys. It's a puffy jacket.
So, but what I'm curious about, like for someone that's maybe track and field, right? For anyone that's done like track and field sports, is there an application where if someone, because you're taking a video, right, of the fighters in UFC, and it's plugging into the video of other people. Is there some kind of application, maybe direct to consumer, where people can like run around a track and they can trace their movements, and it calculates like using the AI tool? Like what are there applications, I guess, beyond, because I know you guys were initially talking about going across to different sports. It was like the what is the slapping sport? I forget what it's called,
Oh,
but
yeah.
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 And so like different applications like that, is that more of a distraction in 2024 that may be something to look forward to in 2025? Or where does kind of that fit in the realm of even possibility for what you guys could do?
Yeah, I mean, anything in combat sports is where we want to initially own. So
Yeah.
MMA, boxing, slap fighting, jiu-jitsu, ground floor work, car jitsu, tire wrestling, whatever it might be, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot out there, trust me, that and it's an exciting category because it's a sport that's on the way up still. It's still nowhere near at a maturity level. You think of sports like baseball in the US, it's very mature at a level, although the Yankees and Dodgers is a pretty
Dodgers.
exciting World Series,
Yeah,
right? So
That was wild.
great game last night. So you look at that. So there's a lot of innovation still to be had in this space within combat sports, and so it's a really exciting space to be a part of. And where we come in and really enable some innovation. Then it's like we'll look at other sports where we see there's an opportunity to utilize our technology. So it's not just like, oh, let's just go into the NFL because it's huge, or let's just go into soccer or football in Europe because it's just a big market, right? We're going to look at sports that we feel can utilize the technology, the blockchain technology, and deliver something that's new and unique out there. Now, let's just take, for example, something like cricket. You guys probably know what cricket is, but
Yeah.
but let me tell you, it's one of the biggest sports in the world, but not in
Yeah.
the US, right? In the US, it's an emerging sport, and you might look at it and go, well, it looks really boring. And it is somewhat boring, but I must say, when action happens, it's fast, it's complex, and a lot is happening at once. So to bring in technology or bring in AI is very exciting because what that can deliver is such levels of engagement and interactivity that doesn't exist out there. So I'm looking at other sports that we can apply this in the future and develop a unique situation. Now the next answer to your question was around the performance part. So yes, performance is a component here that we can roll out in time as part of a revenue line. So i.e., you're an athlete, you're a fighter, you're a coach. You want to upload your fighters' data or videos to have the AI run on the back end of it so you can get a review of what's going on, or competitors, for example, and come in and do that. Yes, that is the future. You've got to consider some technology around that. So how they're recording it, is it on their mobile? Is it on a certain camera? Because obviously the AI has to read it. You've got different lighting, different camera angles. Can we see the fighter all the time? So there's all these things you've got to think about when you're actually, applying the application of this. So, but in the future, we do see a solution around that. But, we got to take in a lot of variables. Yeah.
I like that. That's the best answer possible. It wasn't a trick question, but I like to see that you're focusing on, hey, we know what our target market is that we're going after right now.
Yeah.
We know what our core competencies in the market truly that we want to build out our best product, and then we can expand from there. Because you can't be all things to all people all the time. If you try to do that, you're just going to be nothing to no one. So
100%.
That's a Mike Tyson quote right there. I love that. What a
is it really?
If you're a friend to everyone, you're an enemy to yourself. Pretty cool.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
There we go.
We got the words of wisdom coming early in the video today. I like it. Freddie Bear saying I've used an AI video analysis for pickleball. Oh, man, that's an emerging sport in SoCal specifically, pickleball.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing pickleball now. Cool. Good stuff, Freddie Bear. Piff talking about that walk-off homer as well in the game there.
That was huge.
Cool stuff. Well, Baum, do you have go ahead, Baum.
My questions are a little bit different, but I just want to say kind of what you were saying there, Finn. Like, there are so many different avenues that you could be pushing. Oh, we want to get in the NFL, we want to get in the NBA, we want to do this, whatever. And it's like, no, that's not the focus here right now. We're getting dialed in, we're getting locked in on something that's emerging, and we want to be at the beginning of that. Kind of like when you're looking at people that are investing in cryptos, and it's like, oh, we want to be at the beginning of this, and that's like why some of us might hold certain tokens, like but yeah, no, I think it's fantastic from somebody that's like leading the charge. I think that's really neat because you don't have. We've all heard the stories of, oh yeah, like we're doing it in Africa, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna do it in Asia, all these different things. It's like you don't have an actual serious plan, and it's very different when just talking to you. Even it's like, no, we're not gonna, like Finn's question, like, is this gonna be B2C? Like, can we use it for like training and all that stuff? And it's like, maybe in the future, but we want to lock in and make sure that we are focused on this, and then we can expand, which is awesome. So yeah, props there.
That's cool.
Question wise, here, the one thing I was gonna say, because you look at the Telegram, and I honestly love your Telegram. I will go in there and like, you just have people that are like, oh, have you seen this new fight? Or I'm talking about this football game that's coming up, soccer, and like I'm doing all like it's flooded with fans. It really is. Like you go in there, and
like
it's
all
like,
sports too. It's not like any
is.
just one. It's like whatever the action is that day. That's like a place for people to talk about the action.
Yeah. How does the community? How has that been affecting you on like how you see like what you want to do with the company or how you want to take it? Like how has the community really, how do you feel it might be backing you, or how do you feel that like it drives what you do, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's a good question, Bomb. You know, it's interesting because in the crypto space, we have a cap table. I've got investors that are traditional equity holders. And then you feel like you've got the second cap table, right, of crypto holders, and everyone's got an idea and a thought on where it should go and what you should do, and you have to answer that daily. You have to wake up every morning, and you got a new round of with new direction of the company, right? So
you've got someone with a $4 is what they have put into FX, and they're like, hey, no, this is what the company's got to go.
This is where you should be going, right?
Yep.
So, and you need to handle them professionally and respectfully, and of course you do. But so we take on, and we're very open, as you've probably seen in our chat. We're very trustworthy, transparent, and we'll let people have their opinion and say, and we welcome that. So we do that. I have an alpha group that assists us in, behind the scenes ideas and thoughts, probably like a bit of a governance group that gives me some guidance along the way. So this announcement we had, they helped guide me through that, before how to, what their thoughts are, anything I should think about, any risks or any problems, etc. So we work with that. And then, the community, it comes and goes. Sports is a nice gap when the market's not hot in crypto. So, we try and keep it fun and interactive. You guys would know that in Hello, right? So we're all spending our time doing this and spending hours in these chat groups and on tokens and all different things. Let's have some fun and enjoy the experience along the way, and maybe then have some friendships. And I know our community's created these new friendships that didn't exist prior, probably similar to what you guys have seen. And that gets me really excited and happy to see as well. So, yeah, it's just working with them, and I haven't been in there for the last couple of hours, but I try and jump in pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
That's
that
so cool.
I like that question, Bomb, because at the end of the day, especially with crypto, you're kind of only as strong as your community.
Hmm.
And if your
Yeah,
community is back, developed this cool project or this thing that we're going to be doing in 2024 later this year, like what is my communication with the community, and how can I make sure they're along for the ride as well? Because you've got people that have been part of the community for what, a couple of years now, right? I know I've
yeah,
known about it since Killer Whales season 1 was announced, and it was even
yeah,
before it dropped. But we knew that you guys were going to be on the show. I think it was something like that, right? So it's been a
yeah.
while that we've
April.
we've been kind of
Yeah.
in the loop on what's happening, and it's been cool to see what's been developed as you guys have kept your community in the loop. Now, I don't want to ask this. Well, I guess now
Now
I
you
just
have to.
prefaced it. Now
You're
I have
about
to.
to.
But if is there anything you could show us about like the AI? I don't know if there's an active fight going on or something like that, or if that's too much IP. We don't want people slowing down the video and being like, "What is this?"
Well,
If we can or can't see that, but
yeah, yeah. Well,
completely up to you.
I just had this running, but that fight just finished. Like
Ah,
literally the last two fights. Yeah, let me show you here. But I might better get this going on.
I was too wordy, guys. That's
I
my
know.
fault.
I shouldn't have asked that last
Yeah.
question.
So this is it here running, right?
Wow,
Dang.
look
But
at
I
that.
mean, people just look probably numbers and everything. But this is the fight. That's the replay. But the fight's over. So you would see some much more cool gear on it. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah, that's running. That's running live.
That's awesome.
So just so you guys know, he's not only smarter than us when he's just talking to us, but also when he's running this in the background, he's gonna sound more concentrated than Bomb and I all over the place. That's pretty good.
Well,
Uh,
I was going to say we had some interesting stats last week. Fight night was a Darren Aiken fight, and he hit the hardest out of everyone across all the fighters, right? So we posted something about his force, which is basically like a bowling ball coming at you at 60 miles per hour consistently, right? And so we put something out there to give people context of what poundage this guy was hitting at, tagged him in, and he tagged us back and gave us a shout out and stuff like that. So that's the interesting
That's
stuff that
awesome.
sports data is going to really revolutionize, where the fan can get deeper insights, and you just have to make sense to the fan. They're like, oh, I get that. Like that's
right.
significant. Like I was looking at some of it. I was like, okay, well, this would be interesting. What poundage would that be if a wave came down and hit you on the head, a surfing wave, right? Like
Yeah.
a 30-foot wave, and the lip of the wave went bang onto you. Like, what's that sort of poundage versus, getting hit in the arena from some of these guys? So just go get some context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a cool kind of imagery if you can connect
Yeah.
it to things that people would know, or like this is like getting hit by a car going 20 miles an hour, or
100%.
this, right?
Exactly.
Something like that draws it to the everyday that someone might know, or this is versus Bomb stubbing his toe over there, and he's like, I've been knocked out. Ref, call the fight.
Yeah.
We got a question from the comments over here. We've got it looks like, let's go BD on this one. Question for FX1: what's augmented reality? I don't know if
I
that's
don't
meaning
know.
like
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's all good. Yeah, AR. So the AR is an overlay basically of the live video. So basically, you would have seen it in sports where there's a live game going on, and they've put an overlay of, it could be an image, it could be an arrow, it could be some sort of widget or whatever it might be. So it's overlaying something there to heighten the game, or heighten the sport. So, for example, combat sports, we sign up some partnerships, and the USA like, oh, can you overlay augmented reality when there's a big hit? So there's a big hit, and the screen lights up red or something along those lines. That's augmented reality. So basically using expanded, design and using data to expand the engagement live with a new visual.
So would that be like, so it could be live, or would it be something that would be more like on like the replayed version of the live? Because I feel like that'd be cool. You know, when you see a touchdown in the NFL, or
Yeah.
you see a goal scored and you see the slow-mo camera angles. I always like they did these, I think it was like 5 years ago, and it wasn't like anything, super techy or anything like that. But they would show like Messi and his goal against Athletic Bilbao in the Copa del Rey final, right? And it
Yeah.
shows his acceleration here, then he slowed down, and then
Yeah.
like how he leaned, the angle of it, and it would just like show in real motion, then it would slow down, and it would show like those metrics on the screen. And I remember thinking that's so cool, because you're like, and then he shoots at this miles per hour, if from where he's at a tight angle, and this is the angle he's got to hit, and just kind of those things that, like you were saying,
Exactly.
with like the wave, and it just like you see it happen, but you don't know, especially like Bomb plays hockey, right? You don't know how little that area is that they had to hit where the
Yeah.
goalie's glove wasn't going to get there. And I think that'd be such a cool replayed feature where you could tag the athlete, and they'd be like, dude, I look dope in this. Of course I want to share this on social
That's-
media. Like,
dude.
no one else can do this type thing, right?
Right?
So,
Spot
yeah.
on. Spot on.
That's-
Yeah, replay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. Like that is like nobody like yeah, sports people they have a little bit of ego when they play the sport. You kind of have to when you're playing sports, but like to have that, because people truly don't understand, right? They truly don't when they're watching. They're like, "Oh, I could get in the ring and do this," and it's like, "No, you couldn't." Or
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I could play ice hockey and get hit," or then like play like shoot the puck, and it's like, "No, you really can't." Like being able to analyze those things, I think, is so neat for the player, because then it's like, no, this like there's a reason this person is getting paid this much because of the ability to do this, right? And being able to
Yeah.
analyze that and being like, no, you're getting hit so hard, like that punch is coming really hard and really fast, and this is what it looks like in real life. And they're like, that's more of like an ego boost, like, yeah, dude, I have the hardest punch, like like
Yeah.
it's so it's awesome, because that, I think that is so cool for players, because they don't necessarily, there's nothing like that right now, where they're not getting that recognition of like, oh, they're paid way too much, like anybody could even kick a field goal, right? That's the thing that was like going around for a while, like, oh, I can kick a field goal. But it's like, no, there is so much, you don't even have like 60,000 fans cheering like for you to miss it.
Yeah.
Like there's so much involved, and I think it's really neat being able to analyze that data and be like, no, there's a reason. And it's just cool for them to see, I think, which is awesome. And that, I think, is going to get more and more exposure the more you're like, no, we analyze your
100%.
data, this is how, and this is why you're able to do it and everyone else can't do it,
It's
Yeah.
almost the classic, like when you're watching NASCAR or whatever, and you see the zoomed out view, and you're like, those cars look like they're going like 60 miles an hour. Then it shows the camera angle as they're zipping past you, and you're like, I couldn't do that. Okay, yeah. So it is a cool thing for like sports fans, I think, as well as the athletes themselves. And you want to talk publicity, right? When they share something like that, that's like all their, like, you look at someone like, Ronaldo with 122 million followers on X or something, right? Like, it's kind of like, you want to talk about instant recognition for something that you guys are building the product that they would like to see. There's so many possibilities for that. So I think that's a really cool angle that you guys are doing that in that way, because like Baum and I are saying, any athlete can totally, align their ego with, I did this really cool thing and I didn't know how many people knew how cool it was when I did it, type
Yeah.
thing, right? So
Keep
anyway,
it simple, right?
yeah.
Dumb it down a bit. I think that's the thing. When I first saw this data, I'm like, my God, there's so much here, like, and so many interesting data points that obviously the human eye can't see and can't understand. What is the application here, and how do you utilize? And that's the journey we've been on, is like, well, let's bring this to life, bring this to reality, and dumb it down so the average fan can get a true appreciation of what's going on here. And that is true next tier, next generation fan engagement, fan interactivity. And that's where I think we've now hit a sweet spot, particularly in combat sports. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I know we
Yeah.
got to get to some. We've had you on for 50 minutes. I appreciate
Yeah.
you doing this. And just so you guys know, before we hop on stream too, we're chatting about things. So Damien's had to hang out with us for even longer than we've been live. We appreciate you coming on. And if anyone has any other questions, we can get to those questions. It looks like Piff. I just saw another question come through from Piff. But we could get to some giveaways there on the wheel. So let's start with some hello tokens. We'll go ahead and switch over. Bomb, I don't know if you got all the names on the wheel as we've been doing this in the background. That multitasking might be more Damien's game. I don't know. But we'll see if we can get some a winner or two there for the hello tokens. Oh, look at you.
We got
You've
it.
got it ready to go. All right. Let's go ahead and do a little spin the wheel there for people hanging out here today, and this will be for let's go 1,000 hello tokens. What do you say, Bob?
That's generous. Love that.
Let's do it. Let's do 1,000.
Looks like we got Chaotic Kyle. Yes, I said that properly.
Yep, that's right. So she's pulling for Kyle here. And that's exactly. Are you kidding me?
Sorry, I'm delayed. I saw it first. I forgot about the delay. Yep.
You saw it. That's what happened. I was like, wait, how did you do that? That's crazy. All
it's
right,
an AI tool that I use that I can see.
see a little into the future. That's FX2 right there is what that is. The next iteration. Oh my goodness. Wow. Congratulations. I hope I didn't spoil that for anyone.
He's got his own prediction model.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's what he's doing. He's extracting from the competition right now on stream. Oh my goodness, that's great. Congrats, Chaotic Kyle. That's 1,000 tokens. Be sure to send us a message on Discord or X, and we'll get you those tokens there. 1,000 tokens. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can go ahead and do a second spin for FX1 tokens. And Damien, do you want to communicate what the FX1 tokens are going to be for that one?
Yeah, so 100 FXI and USD. So we spinning the wheel. Are we giving it out a question and answer? What do you guys want to do?
Ooh. I like the question and answer.
I
type,
do like the question and
there.
answer. That's going to cause some people to do some research, and I think that's perfect. I like
it. I like it. And the student in me is intrigued. So, Damien, would you like to? Is there a question that you could pose to the group and first answer in the chat? Gets that?
Okay. Okay. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. You ready?
All right. Here we go.
Okay. We didn't talk about this, so let's just see if we got some tech people on the chat. So, what type of AI do we use to extract the data from the live stream?
I like that. And while they're researching that, I do remember you said you were was it triathlon or something like that? There was some kind of
yeah.
Yeah. Are you still doing that? Are you still looking into that? Or no, done with that season?
I had a metal hip inserted.
Okay.
And I can't even run anymore. So
yeah, looks like I gotta go get one of those. Because boy, these runs suck.
So what did you do, Bomb? You did a 5K, right? Yesterday.
I did a 5K yesterday, and then I played some pickleball. And then my buddy's in town from Texas, who's been training with me for half marathon. And they said, hey, let's just go for a 7-miler tomorrow. So I'm looking at 7 miles tomorrow. And I tell you guys, it is, I mean, I'm running slow, but it is a lot of work. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Just one foot in front of the other, man.
Yeah, I know. And I have a couple of buddies of mine are like, yeah, dude, like it's a pretty hard run. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do the half marathon or whatever. And I said, look, guys, if I'm doing it at my weight, you guys have no excuse right now, okay? So, but yeah,
Bomb's cut down quite a bit. Okay, we've got an answer there. Chat GPT.
I don't know about that one.
But I don't think
maybe the question was too hard. So,
yeah, that's a very tough one. Maybe is there an easier question?
Ooh.
We got Kaizen 101. Hold on.
What sport are we running the AI on? How about that one?
There you go.
All right, then let's do that. What sport New question. No, sorry, they're not very techy. Our community, they align. They're more, they're closer to Bomb and I than
Wow.
anyone else.
That's fair.
Yeah, we got new question. What sport? All right, there we go. We got people knowing the sport. Yeah, we got some other people saying tech. The tech is tech. Yeah,
Oh,
not
it's computer vision. It's computer vision.
computer vision, AI.
Yeah.
Computer vision. For those of you, it looks like Damien's got $100 that he'll send to his wallet there.
Yeah.
All right, we've got. It looks like the first answer was MMA. We got boxing. So
MMA is the right answer. Yeah.
we got combat. MMA is the right answer. So Piff, you have won. Congratulations with MMA. So you guys are currently in MMA and you're looking to branch into other combat sports. Have you added boxing yet? I thought I had seen a clip or two where you guys had that analyzed. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with MMA. There's 3 combat sports in one. So yeah. So we can transition into boxing very easily. Ground floor when we're working on, so the grappling jiu-jitsu. But boxing is definitely an area we're going to be focusing on in 25. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Piff has the right answer then. Sorry, BD. That it goes to Piff. So Piff, congratulations. We'll get the wallet Addy there from you too if you want to send a message on Discord. And special thanks to Damien for doing the giveaway there for you guys. And unfortunately, we're going to have typically have viewers after that login. You guys can't win any of the tokens. Sorry, guys. Even though I'm sure we're going to have someone that was like, I knew what the right answer was. I would have known the AI. It's too bad. You got to be on stream. So before we transfer over to Bomb for some words of wisdom to send us on our way, Damien, is there anything else that you'd like to add just about FX1, what you guys are doing, or just anything at all?
No, thanks, Ed. It's been good, guys. So I'll just say jump in our Telegram is the best answer. So come in there, check us out. That's where you're going to get the latest information, the latest news. If you're interested in this node sale we've got coming up, this fan node sale, we'll be talking about it a bit. There'll be more announcements to come. But yeah, I would say that we're certainly not resting on our morals through to the end of 24 and then looking at 25. We're looking to push as hard as we can into the end of the year. Ideally, a nice market would help a lot as well. So for alts, but let's see what happens. That can turn, as we know, that can turn in a day. So let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. And yes, BD update on Triple H. We're looking at mid-November. We wanted to get some Christmas decor there. So this is something that Damien, I don't know if you're aware, but Bomb and I we're going to be doing a video where the Hello community has given to this. We call it the Triple H wallet, Hello's Helping Hands, where we're going to be getting some gifts for some kids for this Christmas season, and we're going to be putting it on video where we share it, and anyone from the Hello community as well as the people that gave something to that wallet, we're going to have receipts and all that stuff obviously on the blockchain where they can see what's going into that. So that's the Hello's Helping Hands video that we're going to be doing this upcoming month. So maybe we'll tag you in that when we actually send it out so you can take a gander. But yeah, we had a couple of the comments there going on about Triple H and where that video's at. So yeah, we'll be doing that cool stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to check out the FX1 Telegram, be sure to do that. Like Bomb and I were saying, we've been in the FX1 Telegram and we see all the updates. The community's active. They're moving on like all the different sports categories that are going through daily. So be sure to check that out. And then we'll turn it over to Bomb for some words of wisdom, so we can jump out of here and give them back their weekends and cut it out at the hour.
I think we're gonna do the same thing for those. Camera goes this way. For those of you that weren't here in time, this is gonna be the exact same thing that I said earlier, because I think this is great words of wisdom right here. This does happen every time. This isn't, just so you know. I didn't just randomly grab the camera. This is Mike Tyson said this. If you're a friend to everyone, you're an enemy to yourself. There you go.
So what does that mean to you, Bomb? Can you elaborate a little bit further on
Let
what
me
that
put it
means
this way:
for all of us?
everyone always wants me to do things with them. I'm a super popular guy, right? And so I obviously need to start saying no to them to then spend some time on this workout bike over there, or you know, going on a run. You know, sometimes I
With
need
Winnie
to be
the Pooh on your dresser,
right up
over
there.
there. Yeah,
Exactly.
there you go.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
need to be a friend to myself and focus on myself so that I can then continue to be friends with other people. So make sure you're taking time for yourself this weekend. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yep.
I like it. Well, thanks again, Damien, for hopping
Thanks,
in.
guys.
We have some more questions, but we're gonna cut it here at the hour. We'll do one more. BD asking, can FX1 be used for political candidates? I don't know if you want to dive into that one, but good stream. So an hour later, we'll be cutting this stream, I guess.
2028.
Oh
Well,
man.
the problem with that one would be, you know, the predictions we run are off about 38 billion data points on fighters' stats. I think it'd be difficult to get accurate, reliable, trusted data on both parties. So,
as we're determining and seeing right now, the discrepancies there. But
where
yeah,
do I
well,
source that real quality, trusted information? So,
Oh my
oh
gosh.
my goodness, that's its own bottle of worm or can of worms
exactly.
or whatever they say. Well, I shouldn't have opened it up, but
Yeah.
hey, thank you, PD, for the question there, and thanks, Damien, for hanging out. We appreciate you jumping on. While you're
Always great,
obviously really
guys.
busy on the weekend, but thanks
Yeah.
so much for doing that.
Yep.
Awesome. Great to be a part of it. Thanks again.
Good
Have a good
seeing
All
you
right,
weekend,
guys.
you
everyone.
bet. You too. All
Bye-bye.
right,
You guys.
bye.
Bye.